Going to give just a little bit of a mechanical tour around the Dayton here. 1893, 8 horsepower, Dayton Gas Engine Company, Dayton, Ohio. This is serial number 3. There's 4 of these engines known of, this being the oldest one. One engine has the serial number stamped in the tag. It's 409, and it's also stamped on the end of the crankshaft. This engine is also stamped on the end of the crankshaft with a number 3. Now, I don't know how well it's going to come out, but it's right here at the end of my finger. There were 5 patents assigned to the Dayton Gas Engine Company. 4 of the patents are particular to this engine. The 5th one would have been a match start igniter that screwed in this plug up here into the combustion chamber. That patent wasn't applied for until after this engine was built. One of the patents was on the design of the crankcase, which is very unique. Another one of the patents was on the governor and the operation of it. This particular pin right here holds the governor weight on. This one holds a long brass rod that goes through and comes up here to the sleeve that moves back and forth on the crank. Which in turn operates this, which slides back and forth on the main shaft. Now the shaft that goes through here that holds all the cam followers, this piece and the intake cam follower are keyed to this shaft, so they operate together. This is your igniter, over here is your exhaust cam follower. One difference to this engine and the one at Cool Springs is on the one at Cool Springs, this has a one-way clutch in here for tripping the igniter. If the engine backs up, then that thing happens to just freewheel. This is kind of different, and everybody was kind of concerned about what happened if the engine stopped while this was running, because with everything being stuck as bad as it was, nobody knew that this piece here was free to move. I'm going to roll the engine over here. You can see the operation of it. And if the engine happens to quit and it bounces backwards, the thing just kind of trips out of the way. You can see some pitting on things. It's 900% better than what it was when we started. Every nut, every bolt, almost every piece of this engine had to be remade, and it was all done right here. Through the winter, I spent almost a month and a half just in the garage on the mill and the lathe. Valve stems, valves, igniter rod, fuel rod, all brand new. Even the gear, the upper gear was pretty bad shape, but it had to be remade too. This brass valve here is the air intake. You can control how much air is going into it depending on the load. This was donated by Clark Colby. He'd been trying to make one for his own engine, wasn't happy with this one, so he donated it to us, that if we could use it. I think he'd done a great job on it. I took it to a friend of mine who was a whiz with a CNC mill, and he actually indexed this for us, put the open, the close, and a few index marks on there. This is the carburetor here. This is the gasoline portion, which the engine was originally ran on, was gasoline when John Wilcox bought this engine 1966. It had a huge tank that's set up above the valve chest and the cylinder. We're going to be running it on propane. It was set up for natural gas or gasoline. Water pump, we're pretty sure, is original for the portable engine. If you'll notice the design of the pressure dome, through our catalog pictures and stuff, the muffler looks the same, just a lot bigger, with this same design. And we had a pattern made, patterns at the foundry, but it doesn't look like the casting is going to get here in time for the first showing of the engine. Piston pump, it's driven from back here, and there's a belt on the inside of the hub on the flywheel on the other side. These are the Powell flat glass oilers that I made probably several phone calls trying to find. Had wanted ads all over Harry's. What we have on here now is two number 3s, a 4 and a 1.5 over there. The 1.5 I purchased on eBay. I had one of the 3s and the 4. We only had one person respond to us, and that was for a number 4. That number 4 is not being used. It had 1/2-inch pipe thread, and of course you can see here we needed 3/8. The other number 3 oiler was a friend of ours let us borrow it until we can either find another number 4 or another number 3 so we can give him his oiler back. Everything that was originally machined from the factory was remachined. Flywheels were sent to a machine shop over in western Ohio where they were machined. Large copper water tank. Was about to go to a flea market when I saw it at a friend's house, and I thought this would look excellent with this engine. We had a couple extra tags made, and one of them was put on here. This tank was not originally used to hold water. It had another tank inside of it, and there was not enough capacity in that tank, so I took that other tank out, spent about 2 days soldering joints and rivets and everything, trying to get it so it would hold water. Got the flanges from the same guy we got the tank from and installed them. I had this engine out yesterday for the first time since I moved it up into the garage when it was completed, and put some water in it and had a few water leaks I had to fix. Have not tried to start it yet. That is planned today, to try to get some runtime on it before it's taken to its first showing. All the brass pieces up here on the valve chest are brand new. They were all mauled up pretty bad with pipe wrench and pliers and whatever. Oiler is kind of unique. This is something that was used on steam engines, where they'd hot water coming from the cylinder heats this thing, and they'd have put, I guess, lard or pig fat or something like that in there, and the oils that would have run out of that would have run down the tube to the top of the cylinder to where what we call the dirt funnel. There's nothing to keep water, dirt, or anything else from getting down in here where the oil goes. And of course, when we got the engine, with that thing being open, there was some pitting on the cylinder, or on the piston itself, and that's where the piston was stuck in it at. Beautiful day out today, and hopefully we'll get some runtime on this today. Put some oil in it and get everything hooked up and see what happens. Hope you enjoyed this.